Well, in the 3-year-old Colt Pace, Cam's Card Shark is not here, but there still is a very deep and talented group.
It is a deep and talented group, and as far as Horse of the Year honors goes, it looks like Cam's Card Shark is holding a pat hand right now. He retires as the single-season richest horse in harness racing history, and I'll tell you what, it does indeed make the 3-year-old Colt Pace wide open, the proverbial wide open race.
Cam's Card Shark is not here, but Magical Mike is, and for that story and more, let's go to Frank Drucker.
To the victor belong the spoils, the trophy for tonight's $400,000 Cadillac Breeders' Crown 3-year-old Colt Pace. Who's going to win? Well, on paper, this race has a lot of early speed. The 1, Falcon's Future, the Cane Pace winner, he can leave with the best of them, as can the 3, Keystone Luther for Roger Hammer. Expensive Scooter, last year's 2-year-old Breeders' Crown champ, has shown a lot of gate speed as well, as has Pacific Rocket. This should set the race up for a horse coming from off the pace, favoring a horse such as Little Brown Jug winner Magical Mike. But since I like a bit of a long shot, let's take a shot with Island Glow. Bruce?
All right, Frank, so here's a look at the complete field for the 3-year-old Colt Pace and the morning line odds. Number 1, Falcon's Future, 5-2. Number 5, Magical Mike at 9-5 with Mike LeChance. Number 6, Pacific Rocket at 9-2. Number 7, Expensive Scooter at 12-1. So a field of 9 later live in the 3-year-old Colt Pace. And there's a look at Magical Mike, who won the Little Brown Jug and was last year's divisional champion. Here are the current odds in the 3-year-old Colt and Gelding Pace in the Cadillac Breeders' Crown. 7-1 on Falcon's Future from the rail. Duke 15-1. Keystone Luther is a long shot. Island Glow 4.5-1. Magical Mike is 3-5. The consensus public choice. Number 6 is Pacific Rocket, getting pretty good support at 8-1. Expensive Scooter at 17-1. Water Tower is 16, and Canico On Time is 90-1. Magical Mike getting all the support right now.
Well, Bruce, as you mentioned, voted 2-year-old Pacing Colt of 1993. This year's Little Brown Jug winner, which probably was his most impressive effort to date. He slumped a little bit in the middle of the year, but is looking quite strong right now. Our broadcast partner, Frank, believes that he can certainly lay off the pace, but he's also got a great deal of gate speed, and I think he will be right there regardless.
$1,482,000 in earnings this year. He won the Oliver Wendell Holmes and the Jug Preview. Magical Mike will be driven by Mike LeChance.
And Mike LeChance, of course, another great season in the Breeders' Crown, looking very strong, his 6th consecutive year that he has taken a Breeders' Crown event.
Magical Mike being held at 3-5 from the 5-hole, originally at 9-5 in this 3-year-old Colt Pace. What about Falcon's Future, Gary, who will have the rail? Kenneth Holliday is the driver, 11 wins this year, and he won the Cane Pace.
He's also the fastest freshman pacer of 1993 with a mark of 1:51.3. His season last year was cut short by a tendon injury. Now he is known with a horse with plenty of gate speed, and you see him right now. He is very fast away from the gate. He must be respected from the rail tonight. His owners invested $12,000 for this horse and his dam, and they've gotten back nearly $1 million.
Trained by Lon McIntosh, driven tonight by Kenneth Holliday, won the McFarland Memorial. $26,000 away from being a millionaire. Number 1, Falcon's Future. And there's a look at number 6, Pacific Rocket, who's been in the money 16 of 19 this year.
Well, speaking of millionaires, along with Magical Mike, he is the field's other $1 million winner who raced big in 1994, albeit in the shadow of stablemate, and the now retired Horse of the Year Pro Tem Cam's Card Shark. Just 1 race mile for Pacific Rocket, though, in the last month, which could cost them.
$1,136,000 in earnings for Pacific Rocket. Magical Mike, who is being held as the prohibitive favorite at 3-5.
All right, Bruce, and you know, Magical Mike, the only horse in U.S. harness racing history to win the Woodrow Wilson at 2, along with the Governor's Cup, which is held right here at Garden State Park, and that is quite an accomplishment, so no doubt that no reason why he wasn't named 2-year-old Pacing Colt of the Year.
3-year-old Colt Pace in the Cadillac Breeders' Crown. Current odds right now, Falcon's Future 9-1. Island Glow getting plenty of support at 5-1, the fastest son of Dragon's Lair. He was second in the Little Brown Jug to Magical Mike. Magical Mike, as we mentioned, 3-5 right now on the tote board. Pacific Rocket is 8-1 and might be an overlay. Expensive Scooter 15-1. He won the Breeders' Crown last year in the 2-year-old division. And Water Tower and Canico On Time are long shots. Back to Frank Drucker in the winner's circle.
And thank you, Bruce. Looking to add a Breeders' Crown title to his Little Brown Jug title is Magical Mike, trainer Tommy Horton. Tommy, your horses buck the odds. A good 2-year-old coming back as a good 3-year-old. Talk about his season, please.
It's kind of going everything the way we want it. He's always been good, and he really hasn't raced bad any time besides the Adios. And he's been a nice, sound horse, and really haven't had any problems at all.
As you look at this race, you've got post position 5. On paper, it looks like it may be a jailbreak leaving the gate. You've got a lot of speed on your inside, quite a bit of speed on your outside. Ideally, do you see Mike coming from off the pace here?
Could go either way. He's shown that he's good either way, and it does look like a lot of speed, so I would say yes. I know Mike wants to go down swinging, so I don't think he's going to be caught too far back.
Now, you return to the site of your one of your greatest triumphs, winning the Governor's Cup here last year to close out your 2-year-old season. With horses of this caliber, is there such a thing as a home track advantage?
It's nice to know that he does like this track, and he has raced well here. And horses race differently on different tracks, and it's a good spot for him.
Good spot, mid-pack. Best of luck with Magical Mike.
Thank you.
Okay, Bruce, it's all yours.
All right, Gary Seibel, how do you expect this race to unfold?
Well, I have to pretty much feel the same way Tommy Houghton did. He's not really sure whether Magical Mike is going to leave the gate or not, and that's pretty much decided as the gate swings open, seeing what happens with the drivers inside of you, the horses inside of you. Magical Mike does indeed have a lot of gate speed, but he can also come from off the pace, as Tommy says, has raced well here at Garden State Park, so anything can happen when that gate opens. You just don't know. That's why drivers have to make split, instantaneous decisions.
Even without Cam's Card Shark, we have an overwhelming public choice. Does that surprise you?
Not really. It doesn't. Magical Mike right now is at the top of his game. Pacific Rocket, as I mentioned, just one start in the last month. He is coming off a pretty impressive win at Freehold, but I don't know if he's going to be quite tight enough to win tonight. Magical Mike looking very, very strong, and again, his jug performance was very, very strong.
Another look at the odds boards for the 3-year-old Colt Pace. Falcons Future 4-1. Keystone Luther is at 30. Island Glow 5-1. Magical Mike now at 4-5. Pacific Rocket down to 6-1. Water Tower is down to 11-1. And in this division, there have been so many defining moments of the Breeders' Crown. Annihilator in 1985. Earning $3 million by winning this race. Call for Rain in 1987, outdueling Run the Table. Goalie Jeff nailing down divisional honors in 1989. Beach Towel posting the fastest crown win of 1990. This has always been considered the glamour division.
And it is, and I'll tell you one other thing, John Campbell surprisingly has won this division just once. That was last year with Lifesign, and of course he is on last year's Breeders' Crown winner in this division, Expensive Scooter. So we'll see if lightning can strike twice for both Expensive Scooter and John Campbell, and Expensive Scooter, the only horse since Camptastic in 87 and 88 that has a chance to repeat in this division in the Breeders' Crown.
Just the 3rd time the 3-year-old Colts have appeared on a mile track in crown competition, all at Garden State Park. And the Garden State track record is held by Stone Ridge Scooter, 151. The world record, the amazing Annihilator, in 149-3.
Bruce, only 3 times has the winner of this race captured the division title, so we're certainly going to see what happens today. It should be very interesting. We know it's not going to happen. Cam's Card Shark, again, Horse of the Year, Pro Tem, but Magical Mike can certainly win a very, very good big battle here today.
So Magical Mike is number 5, 3-5 right now. Number 1, Falcons Future, is 9-2, and number 6, Pacific Rocket, is 6-1. The 3-year-old Colt Pace of the Cadillac Breeders' Crown. Here's track announcer Larry Letterman.
On the outside, getting the first ball is Canico On Time, trying to overcome that outside post. Then comes Keystone Luther, trying to take on that intimidating speed of Falcons Future in the ring to the turn. And indeed, Keystone Luther has gotten by Falcons Future just for a moment of time. Falcons Future on the outside wants to be the leader and is destined to be one. Has it now, a length and a half. Back in the second is Keystone Luther. On the inside is Duke. On the outside, trying his luck. Here comes Island Glow to get by Falcon's Future. Then it's another 3.5 lane break to Canico on time in fifth. Moving to the outside, the 93 Governor's Cup winner and the Little Brown Jug winner, Magical Mike. Following that one closely is Pacific Rocket. Then it's another 2.5 lengths to Expensive Scooter. And lastly, Water Tower. Quarter win in 27 seconds. The 3-year-olds continue up the back stretch to the half-mile pole. And Island Glow spearheads the field, a surprising leader. Falcon's Future sees it from second. On the inside in third is Keystone Luther. Magical Mike will have to grind it out first over. No one's going to pull. On the inside is Duke. Pacific Rocket keeping close in tandem. Magical Mike. 2.5 in a searing 54 and 4 bend. They roll past the 5/8 to the 3/4. Island Glow on the inside. On the outside, Falcon's Future lose the pocket and is going after Island Glow. Keystone Luther following the hook prints of Falcon's Future. Door is wide open. Magical Mike fades out wide for the big stretch drive. 3/4 in 1:23 and 3. And they're into the home stretch, and this is what it's all about. Falcon's Future hands for everything. Keystone Luther on the outside, don't tell them him. And here comes the ever-present Magical Mike. Far outside, Pacific Rocket. The time now, Magical Mike is on the lead. One left over, Pacific Rocket. Magical Mike scores the lead. Pacific Rocket is going to in 1:51 and 3.
So it's Magical Mike, who won the divisional honors last year in the 2-year-old pacing Colts. First Colt ever to win the 2 richest races for freshmen, the Woodrow Wilson and the Governor's Cup. And he proves that you can do it at 3 as well as at 2. Number 5, Magical Mike, driven to victory by Mike LaChance. The 3-year-old Colt by Tyler B. out of the Racetime mare Racing Date, owned by Shadow Lane Farms Incorporated, Thomas J. Walsh Jr. and David McDuffie.
And a torrid early fractions, 27 seconds, 54 and 4 to the half, 123 and 3 to the 3/4, and that's why they all came charging down the stretch at the end. And as track announcer Larry Letterman said, Magical Mike having to grind it out first over, coming on the outside for Mike LaChance and winning it big time here in 1:51 and 3 with a real late brush on the outside by Pacific Rocket and Jack Moisea. They just got up for second there. Magical Mike does it, and he does it from off the pace.
9 wins this year for Magical Mike in 18 starts, closing in on $1 million. He's been in the money 16 of 18. He's been ultra consistent, trained by Tommy Houghton. That's his 3rd Breeders' Crown. Mike LaChance gets the win in the bike, and Shadow Lane Farm, the breeder of Magical Mike, in the Breeders' Crown. It's a great look at Tom Houghton, the fine trainer of Magical Mike, who happens to be named after the Walsh's grandson, Mike, who loves to practice magic tricks. That's Thomas Walsh's grandson, not named after Mike LaChance, the driver.
That's right. You know, the last time the Houghton barn won the 3-year-old Colt Pace, 1985 with Annihilator, of course, trained by Tommy's father, Bill.
Magical Mike was the favorite. There was no show wagering, and Magical Mike number 5 returns $3.20 and $2.40. Pacific Rocket was second, $4.40, closed stoutly with Jack Moisea. Keystone Luther was third. Time of the mile, 51 and 3. That's 3/5 off the track record. The exacta 5 and 6, $15.60. Right now, let's go to Frank Drucker.
And Magical Mike the horse and Magical Mike the driver. Mike LaChance, congratulations.
Oh, thanks.
The way the race shaped up, there was a bit of movement. Billy Fay had made the lead with Island Glow. You just kind of sat out there. You flushed a couple of horses out, and then you had tons of pace turning for home.
Well, I was expecting a movement in the first turn, but not the horses that had done it. I thought it was one of the Robinson entry that was going to get to the front or try to get to the front. It was just a little different, but I expect that they were going to go to half pretty good, and they did. So
yeah, they did go to the half in 54 and 4/5. We're going to take a look at the race turner for home, Mike, and you were fanning Magical Mike very wide, and when you asked him, he responded.
Oh yeah, he felt real good in the top of the last turn, and but it's a long stretch to keep him going right to the wire, and Pacific Rocket was right in my back, so it was time that I got to the wire, but he wasn't getting tired. He was just to chase him, and just got into the wire.
Home in 1:51 and 3, winning the Cadillac Breeders' Crown 3-year-old Colt Pace. Mike LaChance won last week with Shady Daisy, here with Magical Mike. Mike, congratulations. Thanks. Bruce, Gary, it's all yours.
All right, thank you very much, Frank. A good look at Mike LaChance, one of the great drivers in the sport. He gets his 11th Breeders' Crown trophy tonight. And Gary, it's very difficult to be consistent and do well at 2 and do well at 3 these days in the standardbred sport, but Magical Mike has proven it can be done.
It can be done. He is a very consistent racehorse, and of course got a perfect drive from Mike LaChance today. Was coming first over and then did pick up some cover. That probably made a good bit of difference for him, because Pacific Rocket came flying at the end. If Magical Mike did not pick up the cover, he may not have had enough gas left in the tank for the stretch drive down that long Garden State Park stretch. And good thing he did pick up the cover. He held on at the wire over a fast-closing Pacific Rocket.
Pacific Rocket now goes over $1 million for his career. Meanwhile, Magical Mike is $1.7 million. Let's take a look at the official order of finish, with Magical Mike getting the job done, Pacific Rocket second, Keystone Luther third, then it was Duke, Falcon's Future, Expensive Scooter, Water Tower, Canico on Time, and Island Glow. And the winner circle presentation going on right now at Garden State Park in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. And in the winner circle, representing Continental Airlines, is Sharon Pierce and Norman Powell, and also Len Golikowski. Jim Simpson of Hanover Shoe Farms also making the presentation to Magical Mike. And you can see Mike LaChance and Tom Howe in the picture right there, owned by Shadow Lane Farms Incorporated in David McDuffie, New York and New Hampshire. Magical Mike winning the Cadillac Breeders' Crown. Well, we now turn our attention from pacers to trotters. Our evening of racing continues from Garden State.